coming to you live from the base Midrash. Today's class on Shmiras HaLashon. We are in the gate of Torah, the Shar HaTorah. We are in gate number 8. Still in the first section of we're almost finished with the first section, I should say, of Shmiras HaLashon. And in today's class, we are continuing once again about how important it is for individuals to learn Torah. And when we last left our heroes, we were talking about, or Chofetz Chaim was discussing about how people think that learning Torah is just like learning a profession. Oh, you want to be a Rav? That's what you got to learn Torah. So what do you mean? No, everybody's got to learn Torah. Everybody has to learn Torah. So talk about some more today. So we'll see. There's an interesting discussion which he introduces here at the outset of section 8. We're almost done. We have 8, 9, and 10. So there's some people who believe that they can release themselves from the study of Torah because they go and engage in other things. They'll say to themselves, why would we go waste our time teaching Torah and having someone learn Torah that isn't going to apply it? Okay, maybe he'll have to go do his army service when he fulfills his 20 years old. So therefore, you might think it's better to teach him other things, because maybe it'll make his service there that much easier. And these words compare to a person who is compelled to take a boat trip, okay, and it's going to be a long trip across the sea, and he decides that, you know what, he will not buy any food, and he won't prepare at all for the trip, because, you know what, maybe I'm not going to have enough. So what kind of logic is that? And he makes a little footnote over here. He says, parenthetically, after that story, the truth is, we have to be really embarrassed that if a person were to have, let's say, 2 possible jobs, okay, the two possible jobs that do well and are good jobs, and if one is the one that he focuses on, it sounds like you're going to have to get rid of the second one. And so you're going to say, with a very stringent eye, with a very, with a very harsh look against it, which is the good choice and which is the choice of the unknown. And you're going to ditch the one where there's too many unknowns because of the one that looks like it's the successful one. And so too, if it's a doubt to a doubt or a double doubt, okay, and you're going to say with your crystal ball, okay, or with your great and expansive wisdom, which is the best one and which was going to get you the most, and you're going to invest yourself in that one significantly, because if that one is better than the other one, should get double the time and double the investment, the personal investment, and you will make a decision to keep this one, the good one, longer. And on anything else, you're gonna make sure that, especially if it's better than the other one, you're gonna focus on it more. However, when we talk about serving Hashem and things that involve serving the world, the Yetzer Hara tempts us in the following way, saying, forget about the ways of learning to serve Hashem. And then, that's like, okay, that's good, but not as good as learning the ways of the world. Okay, as we say in Maseches Avos, chapter 4, Mishnah Yud Zayin 17, one moment in the next world, okay. So it sounds like it would be better, all right, and so too, you're going to retain your own independence, your own self forever, which is not the case in anything that's involved in which you are involved in this world, which is a passing shadow. And so too, the eternal goodness as it comes out of serving Hashem, that is, there's nothing greater than knowing that that will come about. And so therefore, our inclination is to say that we should leave all of that and we should go after the unknown, double doubt, not so sure in this world. And that's what we say when we recite the vidui, the confession. When we recite it on fast days and on Yom Kippur, Sarnu mimitzvosecha, we have turned away from your commandments. Umishpatacha hatovim velo shavalanu, and from your good judgments, and they have not equated anything for us. Which is, they haven't met up to anything as incredible as the eternal bliss and the eternal good that we think we're supposed to get in this world. And what seems to compel this is the fact that it pushes away the certainty from the doubtfulness, from what we don't know what could happen. And a person who wants to get away from this inclination of the Yetzer Hara, of the evil inclination, they should take a look at themselves and constantly look at the greatness of the value of what they are collecting when they perform mitzvahs. Things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, the Holy One, blessed be He, that's storing for us in return for the mitzvahs we perform, which is also mentioned by the Gra himself, that a person was created in this world, and that the second world, the eternal world, was created for this entire purpose, in order to receive the reward for a person for fulfilling the mitzvahs and the Torah in this world. And you weren't given any reward in this world, because even if you were given them in this world and all types of pleasures because of it, it wouldn't suffice for the pleasure you'll get in the world that is to come. And especially not what's laid out for you as a result of fulfilling a mitzvah. And if you consider this, you'll realize, hey, I shouldn't get so lost in everything that goes on in this world. Back to our regular scheduled programming. The truth is, based on what we just said in the original story, we need to be embarrassed into the shame of our ancestors, and those are the earliest ones, going back hundreds of years. That what should we say that we would ask them, why were you so lax in Torah learning? Excuse me. Why were you so bad at keeping mitzvos? Didn't you know about all of the things that were going to come upon us as a result of this? That what was going to happen was we were going to be compelled through all forms of punishments, and that would for not learning Torah and neglecting the performance of mitzvos. And nonetheless, we have stayed around, and we've been strong with great amounts of strengths. Okay, and we've gotten the weakest to stand up for themselves, to guard the Torah, and to honor to that Hashem, that He is the one who rules the heavens and the earth, and that person should not violate even one little enactment of the rabbis of the Talmud. And here you all are, okay, all hoping that you will benefit from the shade of the great and kind kings, and it'll allow you to do these Torah and mitzvos, and you then become somewhat disassociated from the performance of mitzvos, because the truth is, the kingdom under which we currently live doesn't let us do it so much. It doesn't allow us to put up schools to learn Torah, or they don't know how to serve Hashem. But we see the kings in our generation, they believe in Hashem, and they give all types of honor and they help to support Torah Okay, and it's only because of, for example, in the case of the Kaiser, who is of great mightiness, when he was 21 years old, and he went to serve in the army. Okay. Oh, and then it says after this, and this little remark was added in by a censor. Okay. This idea that somehow the kings are going to be merciful to us and include random things by the censor is not. It's just not. It's not the thing that we're looking for. It's not what Hashem wants us to get. He's the King of Kings. So, therefore, the Chafetz Chaim now writes, I shall lift up in my analogies and recite the following, and make it into two analogies. And these two stories will compete against each other. And they will set times between each other. And 4 days we'll be fighting amongst each other. And here's how they will work. On the first day, a certain ruler will rise up, and he will punish his enemy with many losses. On day 2, they will go out yet again for another war, and the second guy will beat out the first guy. Then they will meet again on the third day. Other people come out for war, and then they'll beat out the person who beats the first guy on the second guy. And then the nighttime will come, and you're going to see all the people who are the consultants of the kingdom, and each one is going to say that again to each other, "Come, let's be wise amongst each other. We'll figure out a way to be successful. Because how are we going to resolve this amicably? Because if we go out for another war day, there's going to be somebody else who's going to blow through both of us, just like they did on the other days." And so the other party responds, "I got an idea too, and here's what it is." Okay, so here's the weapons of war that we were using to be successful. Okay, and there's also a few guards that are watching their encampment. And what we should do is go at night and take all of their weapons. And so they went and they took all the weapons. And on the 4th day, they get up in the morning, and they all get up, and they all get ready to go for war. And they try to go grab their weapons, and behold, they have nothing. And therefore, they have to surrender. And so that's how this works. That's how this works. It's how I'm describing. Because the Yetzer Hara is warring against a person every single chance, and it's constantly warring against the Jewish people. And sometimes it'll win, and sometimes it'll lose, and sometimes we'll overcome the Yetzer Hara. Okay, and then sometimes we will overcome it, and it will come and push back against us. And the Yetzer is going to say, "Listen, I don't know if I can defeat them. I'm going to see what I can do to send some of them to Gehinnom, to the eternal place of nearly eternal punishment, and to take away whatever swords they wish they could do battle with in order to expand the Torah." And that's even worse than the actual Yetzer Hara existing for the Jewish people to lose the Torah. Because the Torah is the way in which the Jewish people struggles and battles with those evil inclinations. And it's just like the rabbi saying in the Talmud, I created the Yetzer Hara, and I created Torah to cure it. And without it, a person could not be saved from it. Okay, and we've discussed this in another place. So we also see in our day and age that these are the methods of the evil inclination in order to rise up and overpower our feelings and our experiences, and to take us away from learning Torah. And I'm going to teach you a little thing that I say about this one verse in Shir HaShirim, okay, the work of Song of Songs, and it's going to apply to our case. And here's what it is. This is in chapter 1, verse 7 of Shir HaShirim. Tell me now, my beloved of my soul, how is it that I can go out and about? How is it that I could crouch in the morning time? And Rashi says that the congregation of the Jews says to the Holy One, blessed be He, when they are husband and wife, tell me, O beloved of my soul, how is it that you can lead people the way that you do, and especially lead them in a place of where they are exiled amongst the nations of the world who are pagans, because it's such a difficult time for them. It's like the late time of the day. Okay, just like it's difficult for sheep towards the end of the day. And the Holy One says back to him in the second verse, okay, if you don't know how to go, my most beautiful of women, so then go ahead and follow after the trudging of the flocks, and so on. And Rashi explains, this is the example, if you don't know how I bring them together and how I coordinate this beautiful group, how are they going to be saved from those who are looking to attack them? And instead, they will lose attachment to their children, and they will lose. And they should look for the path in which their ancestors walked, that they accepted the Torah and they kept its laws, and I walked with them in their paths. And even with the merit of this, and that's how I go ahead and continue to merge with their own flocks amongst those of the large number of the non-Jewish and pagan world. This thought is also echoed in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 20. You shall make large signposts and take a look at the path. And what it seems to say is Hashem is telling to them that the congregation of Israel should take a look at how they've gotten to a certain place by following the path of their forefathers. The truth is, it's a very deep thought process, because the entire congregation of Israel itself has to ask for advice. What do we do in this time where we are no longer able to make our own determinations, and we are constantly afflicted with so many different issues facing the community? And through this, the Yetzer Hara says to us, here's what you need to do, is to get rid of Torah, right? And make it easier for yourselves. No Torah. Okay? I'm sorry. There's something wrong with the operating system on this Apple device. Ever since they've updated it recently, I don't know what keeps going on over here. So we continue in the story that how are they supposed to survive when they are in the middle of all of these crazy things going on? And that's why it's talking about the opposite has the Yetzer Hara. No kidding. And so, so he's saying over here is that if you reflect on the ways of your forefathers, they received the Torah, they were keeping the mitzvos, and you follow what they do, and therefore I will continue to graze with you and among you. And if you follow this path that's set out, and you keep yourselves attached through the yoke of Torah, or through the burden of Torah upon yourself, you will understand how you protect yourself from the pagan world. So when it says grazing, okay, that you're part of the grazing, it's talking about how they influence you and whether or not that influence is beating you down or not. Okay, and so therefore Rashi's explanation is to say when you reflect on the ways in which your parents and which your ancestors have gone, that the idea of being called upon for the Zuchus Avos, the merit of the fathers, is based upon the fact that we have to continue in their path, okay, and not to speak of it otherwise. And that's like it says in the book of Yehoshua, chapter 14, verse 15. Okay, and so when he talks about over there, and then it quotes that verse in Reshis Rabbah, number 14:6, that this refers to Abraham and other forefathers, that they are the giants for whom we must connect ourselves. And if we focus our sechel on a little bit of what they do, on a little bit of our intelligence what they do, then we could go ahead and walk in their ways, and this will be in our honor. There's another thing I want to point out to you, he says, is not even the smallest of things for which you could attach to your holy path. And that is to say, what does the Holy One, blessed be He, rely upon when it comes to saying that He relies upon the Akedah, that Abraham, in which Abraham was involved, our father Abraham. So if he was to go ahead and tell us to go ahead and check one of our own children for an offering, wouldn't we respond the same way? So the true explanation of this is as the Rambam explains, because the test itself was for seeing the great love that was expressed specifically to our forefather Abraham, and the sign for many years later on is the idea of getting up early, and therefore he would get up and chop wood, and he would wait until he saw the place to go, and all these other portions of the test for which Abraham was exposed were all to teach us one thing. And this is also expressed in the Midrash, which is that the Satan tried to block Abraham's path by pretending to be before him as a river, and Abraham needed to pass, okay, in order to get to Har HaMoriah. And he cried out, "Save me, Hashem, because the water over here is blocking my path." And that's what he was looking for in his total love of Hashem, was to fulfill the mitzvah. And he believed in it in its entirety. And that's what we should take from this statement as well, is that whatever compelled Abraham to be so concerned about his performance of this mitzvah, and especially in the way the service would present itself to any other king, and he had so many other ways to make this so much easier on himself. Nonetheless, right? He could have stopped wasting his time learning Torah, but he didn't. Right? So he goes ahead and he continues to learn, and he continues to involve himself with the learning, and that's how he makes the experience itself that much easier on him. And therefore, it appears to the Holy One. And so, therefore, take a look at the way you've always done things, which is to learn Torah and how to perform mitzvahs. And afterwards, I will do things for you that you see are things that I want as well. And so, were it not for the fact that Abraham did such a great job with this trial and displayed his full and complete love for Hashem, we would not have been able to have seen it applied in order to recall it through the Akedah itself. And how much more so, we would not have needed another command from Hashem to do this. And so therefore, how should we not be embarrassed by our own conduct based on what we ourselves know and is known before the Holy One, blessed be He? And how can we go ahead and make mention of the Akedah of Yitzchak, the son of Abraham, is that when we have something similar like this, we would basically say, Torah is ridiculous. And, we would say, well, no, it's only going to keep us from having to go do army service. And the Yetzer Hara continues to convince us that that's when we would actually receive any real kindness. But the truth is that that's not what kindness looks like, because it's actually a form of cruelty. What kind of cruelty would be extended to a child like this, as you only are doing it for them? Okay, and therefore, in most cases, these will actually cause you some type of issue with your own body, and especially if you've continued to conduct yourself this way for many years since your youth, by just fulfilling everything that you want, and you don't find what it is that you feel that you need, that you're going to go ahead and take from other people, from them, either through force or through some other negative form of conduct, and then that would leave one not only exposed to punishment, but exposed to have other people being against him. And now let's look at the other Avos, because Yitzchak himself, it was known that at the time of the Akedah, he was 37 years old. So if he didn't want to do this, he could have fought off his father, right? He was an old man, and he could have said, "I'm not going to allow you to take me as a sacrifice." So the belief was that it was something he wanted in which he wanted to participate, and Yitzchak wanted to be there. And the verse itself says in Bereshis in 22:8, and they went together with one heart and one connection, and the Yitzchak wanted to be there. And how much the more so that they didn't go ahead and forget to connect even the smallest detail of these whole things, or any large detail expected of them by the Holy One. Okay, and so too, in us, in recalling this merit on a regular basis, how much more so we should be more careful about following our way, and careful on how we walk in our ways, that we should not keep ourselves from learning Torah and performing mitzvahs as a result of this. Okay, and he's going to continue in chapter 9 on the same subject. We bring to a close chapter 8. Don't use army service as an excuse for all the stuff we talked about in terms of learning Torah. Thank you for your time, and we will see you next time. Everyone be well.